In this video, we'll look into array in VBA. Sub LST is the routine I'm going to take. I'll declare an array dim arr 1 to 3 as string. I'll declare an integer dim ctr as integer. Now we'll add some data to the array. Arr of 1 is equal to a. So it should be double quotes. ARR2 is equal to B. ARR3 is equal to C. So now we'll loop through this array and display the values. For CTR is equal to 1 to 3. MSG box ARR of CTR. And then next CTR. So let us run this now. A, B, C. So it is displaying all the values in the array. Instead of declaring as 1 to 3, let me comment this part of the code. If you don't know how many records are there in the array, then you can use L bound and U bound for lower bound of the array and upper bound of the array. For CTR is equal to L bound of array to U bound of array. We can declare message box ARR of CTR. Then next CTR. Now let us run and see. A, B, C. So L bound is lower bound and U bound is upper bound. So even though you don't know how many records are there in the array, you can declare like this and display the records, or we can use the records anywhere. Instead of message box, we can as well apply the code in that part of the for loop. So next we will just comment this part too, and now I'll erase the array and then I'll display this again. So let me copy this. Now we have erased the array, and then let's see what it will display. Run it. So space, space, space. So this is how you can erase the array. When you erase the array, all the records are gone. So you can reassign the values to the array items. Now let us look into multi-dimensional array. So here I'll declare dim arr 0 to 1 comma 0 to 1 as variant, dim ctr1 as integer comma ctr2 as integer. Now assign the values. Arr 0 comma 0 is equal to a. Arr 0 comma 1 is equal to b. Arr 1 comma 0 is equal to C. ARR 1 comma 1 is equal to D. Now we'll display these values. For CTR1 is equal to 0 to 1. For CTR2 is equal to 0 to 1. We'll have a message box. ARR of CTR1 comma CTR2. So this will be next CTR2, and this will be next CTR1. So let us run this now. Run. So we A, B, C, D. So we have declared a multi-dimensional array. This is a two-dimensional array having 4 records. And then we have displayed using 2 for loops. CTR2 for loops is inside the CTR1 for loop. And we are looping through the array and displaying ARR of CTR1 comma CTR2. So the same thing we can do this with. Let me comment this part. Let me paste this here. Let me comment this. So this one I can say L bound. For CTR1 is equal to, here we'll have the L bound of ARR to U bound of ARR, and CTR2 is equal to L bound of ARR to U bound of ARR. So now let us run this. A, B, C, D. So this is how we can declare a multi-dimensional array, and even though we don't know how many items are there in the array, we can use the L bound and U bound to loop through the array items and display the array items. Now we'll see how to use reading. So let me delete this. Dim ARR as string, dim CTR as integer, readdim ARR 1 to 3 as string. So ARR of 1 is equal to A, ARR of 2 is equal to B, ARR of 3 is equal to C. So now we can display this. For CTR is equal to 1 to 3, message box, ARR of CTR, next CTR. So if we execute this now, we get A, B, C. So now I'll redeclare it as readdim reserve ARR 1 to 4 as string. Now I'll add the fourth item here. ARR of 4 is equal to D. So now let us take the same loop here and say ARR 1 to 4, CTR 1 to 4, message box ARR of CTR. So here let us display both of them. Enter A, B, C. Now after reading preserve we are getting A, B, C, D. So before showing, I can just say MSG box after reading preserve. So let us run it. A, B, C. After reading preserve, A, B, C, D. So we can redimension this array. Previously it was 1 to 3. Now we are redimensioned it to 1 to 4. So that's why we are using this reading. You can redimension multiple times. Now if we don't use preserve, when you used preserve we got all these ABC and then we got D also, and we don't use this preserve. So let us redimension again. So redim ARR 1 to 5 as string. So previously 1 to 4, now I made it 1 to 5. And before giving the loop, I'll give message box after reading without reserve. So let us take this loop again. This is next CTR and this is message box. This is 1 to 5. So let us comment this part because we have already seen this. So let us observe these two. Now execute after reading preserve A, B, C, D. After reading without preserve, we get space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now after reading preserve, let us add here ARR of 5 is equal to E. So after reading preserve, we have added D and we have redimensioned again, and now we have added E. So now let us run it again. After reading preserve, we got A, B, C, D. After reading without preserve, we are getting space, 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 and then E, because we have added the fifth item as E, so it didn't preserve the previous 4 items. So it had added the fifth item but didn't preserve the previous 4 items. So if you use read and preserve, it will preserve the already added items and then add the current item to that list. If you don't use preserve, then it will add the last item but it won't preserve the previous list. Please like, share and subscribe to SQL BI Bytes channel.